Hi guys! In the last video we saw the verb to be in the simple present. So in this video we're going to continue with the topic for this week and we're going to keep working with the simple present but with other verbs that aren't the verb to be. So as you remember, the simple present, we can use it to express habits, general truths, routines, describe mental processes or emotions. For example, she smokes, that's an habit. I work in London, that's a general truth. That soup smells good, that's a mental processes. Also to give instructions or directions. For example, you walk for 200 meters and then you turn left, okay? Or open your book in page 50, okay? And for habitual events, for example, the class starts at 15 o'clock, I have a job interview at 8 o'clock, and she gets up at 6, okay? So how we are going to form the simple present, okay? So most verbs use the root form except in the third person of the singular. Remember, the third person of the singular is he, she, or it. In this case, we are going to add an S at the end of the verb. And for a few verbs, if the verb ends with O, CH, SH, PH, WS, or GH, we are going to add an ES at the end of the verb instead of just writing an S, okay? So, for example, if we use the person I, you, we, and they, as you can see, we are just going to use the root verb. I play, you eat, we work, we dance, they sing. Okay, just the root verb, just like that. But if we use he, she, or it, we need to add an S at the end of the verb. For example, he plays, she eats, he works, she dances, he sings, okay? So we need to add an S at the end of the verb just for the affirmative sentences, okay? Only for the affirmative or for the positive sentences we are going to add an S at the end of the verb for he, she, and it, okay? So here, the formula to create sentences in the affirmative form is first we're going to write our subject, then the verb in the simple present, and finally our complement. For example, she works at night. So here we are adding an S at the end of the verb because we're using she. I sing in the shower. Hugo dances at night. So here also we add the S at the end of the verb because we're talking about he, that it's Hugo, okay? Melissa walks in the park. Also, we are adding the S at the end of the verb because Melissa refers to she. And Carlos and I listen to music every day. Okay, so as you can see, first we have our subject, then the verb, and finally the complement. For the negative, we are going to add two things, okay? We are going to add our auxiliary, okay? In this case, our auxiliary could be those or do, and the word not, okay? So, if we have he, she, and it, we are going to use those. And if we have I, you, we, and they, we are going to use the auxiliary do, okay? So, remember first our subject, then the auxiliary, then the word not, then the verb in the simple present, and finally the complement, okay? So, for example, I do not write a love letter. He does not run in the mornings. She does not drive today. And I do not choose the correct book, okay? so here, as you can see, okay, in the second sentence, he does not run in the mornings. The verb doesn't have the S at the end because the S is already here in our auxiliary does. Okay, so that's why in our negative sentence we are not going to add the S at the end of the verb when we use the third person of the singular because we are using the auxiliary does. Okay, and also we can contract the sentence to make it shorter. So I'm going to contract the auxiliary with the word not. Okay, so it will be doesn't or don't. So instead of saying I do not write a love letter, I'm going to say I don't write a love letter. Instead of saying he does not run in the mornings, I'm going to say he doesn't run in the mornings. Okay, she doesn't drive today. I don't choose the correct book. So here we're going to use this contraction to make the sentence shorter. Okay, and finally we're going to see the interrogative form. Okay, so remember this interrogative form is to just answer with a yes or a no. So the formula is that first we're going to write our auxiliary does or do, depending on the person that we use, then the subject, then the verb in the simple present, and finally the complement. For example, do you talk to your co-workers? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Does she do the report? Yes, she do. No, she doesn't. Do you wash the dishes at night? Yes, they do, or no, they don't. Okay? So first we're going to write our auxiliary, and then we're going to write the subject, then the verb, and finally we will have our complement. Okay, so just as simple as that, and we can just answer with yes or no. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Just as simple as that. Okay, so this is all for this short video. Okay guys, and we're going to keep working for this week with the simple present, and in the next video we're going to see the WH questions in the simple present. So this is all for today, and I'll see you in the next video.